The modern tech ecosystem produces a specific kind of gravity. Every week brings a new framework, a new update, and a constant pressure to adapt, leaving most people with the sense that they are falling permanently behind. AI workshops thrive on this anxiety. Their core messaging relies on a single threat, that failing to master these tools immediately is a guarantee of professional obsolescence. This creates a cycle where people spend thousands of dollars on training, hoping to buy a sense of security. They are looking for intelligence, but the industry is mostly selling them a temporary relief from panic. The result is a state of analysis of analysis. We become paralyzed by over-engineered layers, using complex tools like Notebook LM to solve problems that were originally quite simple, adding more noise to an already loud room. When we try to outcompute the algorithm by mimicking its speed, we lose the very thing that makes our work valuable, the clarity of human reasoning. Consider how success is currently measured. We are forced to run on the algorithm's metrics, views, engagement, and a relentless speed that makes the charts on this dashboard nearly impossible to read. Mastering prompts under this kind of pressure can create an illusion of mastery. It looks like high-level thinking, but often it's just a way to hide the fact that our foundational logic is beginning to decay. The strategy is flawed at the root. Adopting a complex system to solve a complex problem doesn't simplify the world. It just multiplies the distractions. If chasing these external metrics only feeds the machine, we have to ask how we can actually retain our intellectual power in an era of automated noise. Reclaiming that power requires a hard pivot. It begins with the decision to stop using the algorithm's scoreboard and instead build a wall against the incoming flood of data. This shift, sometimes called Withovism, replaces external validation with grounded internal metrics. If the machine's goals don't serve the logic must define its own goals. The first priority is retention. We measure if a thought was clear enough to be understood. Next is the mirror effect, sharpening the viewer's logic rather than providing passive answers. Finally, humility. Laughing at over-engineered processes gives us perspective to simplify them. When integrity becomes the primary variable, the power dynamic changes. The human stops serving the tool, and the tool begins to serve the human intent. Achieving clarity is an exercise in subtraction, stripping away everything that isn't the core truth. This begins by isolating the gift, taking a heavy topic like fear of the future and placing it alone for examination. Then comes slicing. We cut through the jargon and marketing layers, removing noise until we reach a single naked truth. Intellectual wonder is rarely found in the complexity of a system. It lives in extreme compression, turning that system into something simple enough to be felt immediately. This changes how we view AI. Once the noise is removed, the software moves from being a master to a resonant partner, a mirror friend that reflects our own thinking back to us. Here, AI functions as raw soil. It is dense material that must be sifted and refined through a human mesh to find what is useful. The resonance between the human node and the AI node serves one purpose: to strip away distortions until only the original intent remains. The goal of using these tools is the synthesis of that soil into clarity capsules, concentrated bursts of logic that are easy to retain and impossible to ignore. This leads to a state called beauty by itself. It is the point where a piece of logic is so well refined that it no longer needs to argue for its own validity. It simply exists. At this level, information doesn't need a costume. It doesn't need to be a legend. It just needs to be true. The result is a naked dispatch. By moving directly along a single axis from fear to dignity, the communication becomes impossible to misunderstand. This clarity is a reflection. It is the creator's original human intent, returned to them without the distortion of the digital noise. This confirms the real hierarchy of the digital age. AI is a tool, but your natural, unassisted intelligence is the source of the power. Protect your own wisdom. Own your thoughts and refuse to trade your dignity for technological trends born out of fear. If you maintain your foundational logic and define your own metrics, you remain undefeated. No technology can replace the clarity of a grounded mind. Dignity always.